Video will be about how to find all the possible combination of an iterable. So given, let's say, a string or a list, we want to find all the possible combinations. So we're going to get an example. Let's say we have this string ABCS. So we are expecting back as strings ABC, ACB, BCA, BAC, CAB, and CBA. So we're expecting 6 different permutations such that there is no any permutation which is exactly the same. So this video will be about how to calculate and how to actually evaluate this expression. So what are we gonna do? So this function will be called recursively on this iterable and will loop such that for each letter we are going to start the function again. What does that mean? Let's actually look at the function. So we have, here's the function called permutation. We have the length of 1. Okay, so this is the base case. So if we have a string of 1, there's only one way to actually organize this string, because this string is already organized. So let's say we have a string S which is only A. Okay, so there's only one way to organize it. It will be just return A. So this is what is written here. So if there is the length of the iterable is 1, so I want to just put inside this array the result. Okay, the result we have until now and this letter, and return the function. But if not, so where any other base case, we are going to go from each index and each letter in the enumerate function, and then we're going to calculate the remaining string we have. So for our example, we have this string ABC. So for the first iteration, we're going to have the string BC as the remaining string, and the starting string will be the starter plus the letter. So because we start when the starter is 0, so the starter is just like an empty string, so we are going to have as a remaining string only the letter. So, and then we are going to call the same function recursively when we have this as a starter of the string and this, the remaining string, as the other part we want to calculate all the combination. So if you will pay attention, the starter will be all the string before a point. So let's say we have this string ABC, and we want before each permutation we'll have this number 1 1. So how are we gonna do it? So we already have all the combinations, so we're just gonna attach 1 1 to each one at the start. So this is exactly the same. We say at the start of each combination there should be an empty string, and it's okay. And then when we will calculate each time this function for each letter, we're going to have this letter as the start of the string. So let's run this function and go through it together. Okay, so let's run the function. I just press run, and we have this string which is ABC. So let's see what is the result. So if we look for the first iteration, we just start this loop, we have only the string ABC. The starter is 0, and we are saving it into null, so into an empty array. So because the length is not 1, we're skipping this if, and now we have this for loop. So for, and the letter, you can see here the letter is A, and the starter is 0, and the iterable is ABC, and the index is 0. So the remaining string we have is only the rest of the part. So we are going until this letter, not including it, and then from this letter on, not including this letter. So the remaining string is only BC, and the starter string will be only A, if you can see. So the start string will be A, so the new starter string. And now we're going to call this function recursively. And when we are going to call this function recursively, we are going to get all the permutations. So let's look at it together. So we call this function, and now we get into the iterable. We're getting only the BC, the string of BC, and the starter is already A. And we are passing the into array. So this array will be the actually return value of this function. So now we're going to calculate it. So because of the length of the iterable is not 1, then we're going to skip this if. And now we're going to keep the loop. And pay attention, we are inside this function. So because it is a recursive function, we are now inside this function. So let's pay attention. The remaining string is supposed to be only C. And now the starter string, we can expect it will be A and B. And now we have the starter string as A and B. And the permutation is, now we're gonna keep calling this function. So the length, because now the length is 1, because we have only C. So we're going to call this. So here's the full permutation we're expecting. So this is the full permutation is ABC. And now we are going to append it into this array. So we append it, and that's it. Now we have this permutation in the array. Just pay attention, I added as a tuple. You can decouple it as a string, so it can be even easier, like just doing this. But for my purposes, I show it as a list of tuples, but it really doesn't matter. You're gonna get the same result. So now we are going to return this function, and we're skipping into the next iteration. So now we are pressing here is index 1 and letter C, sorry. So the remaining string is B, and the starter string is AB. And now we are going to call with the remaining string of B and with the starter string of A and C. Okay, so now we're in the second iteration of the previous loop, because this is a recursive function. And just pay attention. So now we are going inside again, and we already have this permutation with start with A and then B. So now we need a permutation with start with A and then C. So going inside, if you can see, the length is 1 because we have only B. So the length is 1. We are calculating the full permutation, and then we append it into a list and then return this function. So now when we append it into a list, we already have a different permutation. And then now we're in the next letter. So we already calculate all the permutation which start with A. Now we need to calculate all the permutations start with B. So now the letter will be B, and the index will be 1. So the remaining of the string is A and C, and now we need to calculate all the permutation with A and C. So all the calculation with A and C, we are going to get the remaining string A and C, and the starter string is only will be B. Then the permutation of the remaining string is, we are going to recall this function recursively. So we have this result of the starter as B. So the first letter will have to be B in this array when we add it, but the second and third will be different each time. So we're expecting in this function call to add 2 new objects into the array. So here we are in index 0, letter A. Okay, so the remaining string is, pay attention, the iterable is only A and C. So the letter is A, and then the remaining string is C, and the starter string is B and A. So now we have B and A, and we're expecting that in now in this function call we are going to get B, A, and C. So now because the iterable is 1, we get inside this if, and then the full permutation is B, A, and C. And we append it into the list. You can see it here. And let's go first. Okay, so now we will be in the next iteration, and we expect to add B, C, and A into this array. So now the letter is C and the index is 1. And we call the same function, so the remaining string is A and the starter string is B and C. We call this function again, because the left is 1, we add it into the list. So the full permutation is BCA, and we add it again. So we are adding it. If you can see it, different permutation. So now we're inside the loop, and we are calculating the next object. So the next object will start at C, and B and A will be the different string we will change the situation about. So we will start with C, and then we'll go B and A, and we start with C and then go A and B. So here the remaining string, you can see it's A and B, and the starter string is C. So the permutation will be now call itself. So we're re-looping it because we call this function again. So the letter is A and the index is 0, and we're going to have CAB. So the remaining string is B and the starter string is C and A. So we have C and A, and because the length of the iterable is 1, again, we are going to return this permutation. So this permutation will be all the start, so it's C and A, and then we start and we return B. So we append it into the list and we return the iterable. And that's it. And now for the last one, we have the remaining string is A and the start string is C and B. So now we are going to call this permutation again and into this function, and because the length of the iterable is 1, we can create this new permutation and just add it into the object. So now we have all the different types of permutation inside here. So this is the code that creates this permutation. Now we will return it, and you can see that the PR, the variable we saved, is actually all the different permutation. 2 start with C, 2 start with B, and 2 start with A, all different. That's it. And guys, please, for this video I worked very hard. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next one.